everyone, and welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV. My name is Michelle.
And my name is Nina, and welcome to a brand new show called Carefree Queens, where we will be bringing you the latest Chelsea talking points, everything surrounding the club there is to know, and mainly just bringing up the spirit while it's very dire right now. Don't you agree?
What is there to be excited about, to be honest? Maybe a club stadium?
So just a little bit of background, guys. I'm from London, so I'm quite grateful to have the bridge very close to me, and I attend games where I can. Michelle, on the other hand, where are you?
You are so privileged, Nina. I live in Denmark, so whenever I go to games, it'll be a journey for me no matter what. So I often joke around with, even though it's a home game, it's an away game for me either way. So I make a journey out of it. But I don't mind it. I feel very privileged, not gonna lie.
Yeah, especially now, considering the results recently. Southampton,
It's
rock
actually
bottom.
funny. Alex asked me the same thing on my first fan camp, but I would rather be in a stadium screaming from the top of my lungs than being alone on my couch. But I mean, that's not really an excuse, is it? And I'm not gonna lie, it's been a dreadful few games, but
No, it has been. It has been hard to say the least. I think a lot of things have just gone south, left, right, and centre since Potter came in, and it's been, change of ownership, change of backroom staff, new players, injuries, fixtures left, right, and centre, different tournaments, and I just think it's been too big of a plate for Graham Potter, as we've seen a series of defeats. 2 wins in 15 games is it now, and that is an absolutely atrocious statistic to surround Chelsea Football Club. A team.
When we finally have scored, we haven't really. It's been like one. Have we even scored 2 goals? I can't think of any games where we've scored more than 1 goal.
Honestly, and at this point, we've said we just go to draw. That's become the new victory. It's actually crazy that we go to a game hoping to draw, but, instead we get defeats, which is even worse. But what can you do? But, Michelle, I think the most heated question right now is Potter in or out?
Yes. Should we just start it off there? Because
I think that's the biggest thing going on right now, isn't it?
And I think we can have such a healthy debate about it because I'm Potter out and you're still Potter in. But I think we can still agree in a weird way because I want him to succeed, but he just hasn't proven anything to me or anyone. He hasn't given anything or any reason for me to be Potter in. So it's not like I'm completely like, I would love to back him because I think that's what you should do. But the other way around, he should be giving me a reason to actually back him. So, but I am put out because I don't see this going anywhere, to be honest.
No, I agree with you. And I don't want people thinking that because I'm Potter in, it means that I'm accepting what's happening to our club. I'm in no manner accepting or saying that these results are okay, these performances are okay, and I'm no way defending Potter entirely. However, I don't think the club will sack him, and that's it. The board and Todd are standing behind him. So I think, what's the point of not standing behind him right now? I mean, yes, we have to critique him. Yes, it's not been good enough. We want to see that strong leader that brings the players in at halftime, changes it up, switches it up, and, sends them out on that pitch with a point to prove and, to change the game quickly. And we just haven't seen that because it seems when we concede, it just goes south from there. It's only a matter of, is it going to be 2 goals? Is it going to be 3? How much can we really survive in this game? And that's all it's really been recently, survival. Even the draws, we concede or we score or vice versa. And then it's just like we're holding on to that draw to dear life because nowadays a point is what we strive for, really. How many times have we gone into a game and we've thought, can we at least get a point? And, going up against a team like Southampton, it's just guaranteed a disappointment, with the performance there was. And
that's horrible.
Absolutely. And like you said, we want to see something to allow us to support this man, because he's come into a really difficult situation, and he's been dealt these cards, deal with this mess, and get us into Champions League football, get us far into domestic cup, get us into top 4 when so many things have gone wrong. So when you look at it that way, you want to cut him some slack, but at the same time there seems to be no desire there, no idea. We have no identity on the pitch right now. There's no style of play. We've brought in players of such good quality, with such fantastic backgrounds, yet they're just individual players that can dribble or put on a good cameo. But as a team, we aren't
I was
Chelsea
about
right
to say
now.
that we aren't really a team, are we? But it's so
No,
funny to me because your point of view is that we should back him.
because we're not going to get rid of him.
No, I get that, but what is there you want to back? Like, do you know what I'm getting at? Because you're sitting here
Yeah.
getting him criticism, and it's like, what is there actually to bag?
My only point of view is that Todd brought in Potter for this 5-year kind of long-term deal to kind of put us on a road to becoming, a club that prospers in the long term, a rebuild. This is what we were invited into believing. Players being given out 5, 6, 7, 8+ year contracts for this long-term project. He brought in the whole backroom stuff with Potter along from Brighton.
Yeah.
If Potter is sacked now, we're left with the rest of the staff. We're left with all the players that Potter brought in the transfer window, with his players, with less than a month, or maybe a month and a little bit to integrate them. No, less than a month. We're 2 weeks after the deadline day, so less than a month to integrate. Injuries coming back. And I just feel like if we sack him now, then where do we go? It's not like someone can come in right now that can change
Mourinho.
things and really go there. So I just think we at least need to give him to the end of the season, give him another transfer window. But if we are to a point where we are not seeing any victories and we're dropping further down, then that is when we have to kind of really call it up and just call it what it is. But like I said, Bowley will really not be doing himself a favour personally, because he's come in with this big agenda, long-term project, 5 years. Potter is the man for the project. Sack Tuchel, a man who the club absolutely loves, who did so much in the space that he was there, brought us to finals, won us trophies. So, he did a really big thing there. So clearly there is some sort of, vision there. We might not be seeing it now and we're not, but for him to do what he did, then there must be a reason, and that is what I'm hanging on to.
But it is his first time owning a football club. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, I, well, I'm also just a bit skeptical from nature. Like, I, I keep thinking about that. What if we brought Mourinho in? He's got so much to, like, honestly, what do you think about that?
Yeah, another time won't hurt.
Do you know what I mean?
I'll have
Like,
him back happily.
we don't
Yeah,
have a
no.
character back into the dressing room, and that isn't that kind of what we're missing.
So it's the leader we're
Winning
missing, the
mentality.
leading mentality.
Yeah, winning mentality, passion, someone who isn't afraid to
Mm.
we're lacking personality. We're lacking someone who
Yeah,
isn't afraid to talk back to the journalists, to have a little flair, like edge or whatever you want to call it.
someone who's going to do a little bit more than well played, boys.
Honestly,
Just wasn't
yeah,
our
yeah.
day.
You know
No,
what?
and I agree with you. I agree with you. Trust me, I do want that, and I want that for our club. I don't want this passiveness. Potter doesn't show that. However, because we have brought him in now, because he's had the freedom to bring players that suit his style of play, supposedly the future style of play we're supposed to see, it's said that we have to give him time. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense. The next
How
manager
long will
comes
you?
in. What if the next manager who comes in says, okay, well, these players, I don't know what to do with them. We've just spent 300 million in January, and they're going to say, well, I want my transfer window. What do we then go ahead to do? Another 300 million, spend another 300 million in summer, and
That
then
sort of
what?
falls upon the owner, then, doesn't it?
It is, and
Someone
perhaps
call
this,
it.
perhaps Todd has got it all wrong. Don't get me wrong.
No.
I agree. I can see and I can feel the pain, and I feel it myself. It's frustrating. This isn't what we're made of. This isn't how we are. We compete in Europe. We might not even compete anywhere near Europe. That's actually beyond me to think. And if Potter isn't the man, then he's not, and I hope that Bowley's got a backup plan for us, because this project could go horribly wrong, but we've got such good quality, and yet you're right, there's not the leader, and there's not that person that can gel this team together and can produce results. How many more teams? We're probably going to get through a defeat from every single Premier League side this season.
Oh yeah, I think that's what I'm expecting. That's why I keep thinking about, like, because obviously it hurts us because we're so invested in the club. We, been supporting it for so long. But if you look at it from Todd's point of view, he has money in this investment as well. That must hurt. Like, I can't help but think what he's thinking. Like, he must feel something, because he. I suppose he supports the club as well, because why else would you buy it? But let alone he supports it, but he has money in. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah.
I can't help but think, if we're going mental, not creating results, imagine him making an investment that just goes downhill.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't look like it's gonna go up anytime soon. That's a really bad investment. When is enough enough? Do you know what I mean? Like, when do you think that he's gonna be like, I don't want to see my stocks keep on crashing. I actually want to see this go up, so I don't just waste my money.
Well, I think this is where we see how much he really cares about the club then, isn't it? Because if he is thinking that we Chelsea fans are going to be okay with not winning trophies for 2-3 years, then he's got it wrong, because I don't think that's something that we can accept, or not making one appearance in a final, let's say, because that's not something we're used to. However, if that is his vision and he's thinking, oh, I don't mind, I'm actually okay with Chelsea not winning trophies for X amount of years if it means that in 4 years we're going to be contending for the Premier League title, because we'll have the quality, we'll have made the rebuilds, we will have cleared the squad out. My worry is that that's his thinking, and that means that Potter will stay. And that means that Potter will stay on for seasons and seasons, because if he backs out of this now, then he's showing that kind of his vision has failed somewhat, and that Potter isn't the man and he's got it all wrong. So you have that side of things as well.
Yeah.
And I completely get where you're coming from, because we saw Bowley get so aggressive in the transfer market. He found that loophole. We angered everyone because he got it spot on. He got it spot on with how he, dealt with all the contracts for the new players and stuff. So that kind of installed some faith that this man has got, some sort of vision there. And now is it going to just crumble down because Potter's going to be left as our manager for the next
that's
years?
actually another point, because obviously we keep talking about this long-term part. What is his contract's 5 years? Like, it's like it's not a here and now vision, it's a in the future vision.
Exactly.
But what if Potter is that one person to sort of ruin it and be in the way of that, and if you just replace him and put someone else in, that vision will blossom in a different way, but it will still blossom, or someone else will just make it blossom.
And we'd hope that, and absolutely, if it gets to a point where it's absolutely disgraceful, then I hope and I trust that Bowley will make that decision and figure out that somebody else maybe needs to take control of this long-term project, because how many more defeats can we take? And, I'm not sitting here and defending any of that, because trust me, I hate it as much as everyone else. Yeah. It's just, if he doesn't, and, Todd is adamant that he's not sacking Potter, obviously that's going to complicate things big time. And the fixtures that we're yet to have, and even the Champions League game against Dortmund at home, I think that is when things are really going to sink in, because I think if Todd actually realizes that Potter really isn't the man for the job, then I will absolutely more than happily say yes, thank you, because
you think that's a turning point for you as well?
Yeah, no, 100%. And like I said, if these results continue, then that is absolutely, crazy. However, if he is staying and the board is saying that Potter will stay, then we've got to back him. Look, we can't just. I mean, it's going to be hurtful, but if the club and the board is backing him, then I don't know, man. It's
no,
hard.
I get it, because it's also like, what can you do?
Exactly. We're powerless in this situation.
That's the thing. Like, I can be as much Potter out as I want,
Mm.
because I don't see anything from him, and a lot of people don't, even you, and you're still Potter in. But I get your point of view because we can't do anything about it. Like,
No,
if
exactly.
Paul
I'm
decides,
Potter in because he's not going to leave and he's not going to get
that's the
sacked.
thing.
That is the reason.
Yeah, you save yourself a lot of headaches, don't you? It's like, oh,
Mm.
I just want to see this cup statement.
I do feel a bit bad for him, though. I do feel a bit bad for him. I can't
That
lie.
honestly, this is too perfect, because
You
I
know,
really want to talk about as well, because I don't really think anyone has really touched upon this. Like, us, every single fan was so hard critics. Do you think we're too hard on him, and like, because I don't think we should spare him, because I see it.
no.
He has been brought in to do a job, and he isn't fulfilling his job description. So we should criticize him, but do you think we could criticize him in a different way? Do you think we're being too harsh on him?
I mean,
I
no.
think it's
I mean,
everyone's fault, isn't it? Like, I
I
hear some things in the stand sometimes, and I'm like, you shouldn't be saying that.
No, some people definitely take it too far, and I get it. Everyone's upset. It's disappointing. It's horrendous, but he is a human being at the end of the day. And I heard a reporter ask him, "How do you feel about being probably the worst Premier League manager?" And that's just an awful thing to say. And I think, people saying, "Oh, if he'd stayed at Brighton, he was doing fantastic things with Brighton. Potentially, he could have turned them into, one of the most defensive sides, a top 16 permanently, whatever." However, at Chelsea, I just do think that the job is too massive, People are going to say I'm contradicting myself, but no, honestly, if Bowley is not going to sack him, then what can we helpless Chelsea fans do, really? People are saying don't go to matches and don't go to this. I just think the reality is Bowley will stick with Potter just because he's invested this, thought, this money and into this long-term project, and he's kind of fitted everything around, because I can't believe it, but if Potter gets sacked now, then sacking Tuchel was all for nothing. That's it. That's just how I see it. Sacking Tuchel was for absolutely nothing, because he came in with such a mission that he was so convinced that Potter's the man and Tuchel isn't, because he didn't fit the picture.
Why?
Well,
Why do you
I
think
don't know
that?
if
Why do you
Tuchel fell out with the dressing room, but I think the players are falling out with Potter in the dressing room now. So my only concern is if Potter is sacked now, Tuchel is sacked for nothing.
Honestly, that's why. Why do you think Todd has so much faith in a guy that delivers absolutely nothing, but he didn't have any faith in a guy he had a bit of a controversy?
Exactly, and that is the most interesting thing to see, because what is it that he sees in Potter that he didn't see in Tuchel? And that is a
Do you think he's
question
being too
that.
stubborn? Do you think it's his ego? Because I can't help but think
Oh,
if it's like, if I now sack Potter and bring in a personality like Mourinho, he's gonna sort of like admit he made a wrong move without actually saying it. Do you think that might
yeah,
be the thing as well? It's a lot of like, that's
honestly.
the thing. It's a lot of what ifs. Everything we more or less touch on is like what if and what.
Exactly. And I think that's a great way to wrap it up and just say what if to everyone watching this show today. I mean, what if, there's so many
Just
what
leave
ifs,
it on
and
a cliffhanger.
honestly, guys, just let us know down in the comments your thoughts. I know most of you are absolutely fuming, and rightfully so, but is there a tunnel to look forward to? Is there a light at the end of that tunnel? Is what we're yet to find out. We've got a really important game coming up this weekend. Can we turn up for it? Because if we turn up, then we can really try and turn this around, at least for one game. Because
you're gonna be disappointed.
and now, okay, now is the best time to take all this anger out on on Tottenham on Sunday.
Well,
And we can leave it at that. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Like and subscribe, comment down below. Thank you so much for watching.
All that jazz. And yeah, we'll be back. Like we said in the beginning of the video as well. I live in Denmark, and Nina lives where the club lives, more or less.
Where the club lives, in London.
More or less. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I live where the club lives, guys. Up the Chels.
Well, It won't necessarily always be like this because I do travel for the games. So it might be in one recording.
Yeah, Chelsea, sort it out. Otherwise, you owe her loads of money.
Oh yeah, honestly, you guys already do. Well, it was
Thank you very
great
much,
chatting,
guys.
and I think it was a really, really interesting conversation because we disagree, but we agree at the same time. It's a bit strange, isn't it? But we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching. I enjoyed myself. I hope you guys enjoyed listen to our rambling, and we'll see you in the next one.